Hello, BookTube. Well, all right, we're dealing with the shadowy light one last time because we are finishing up the Annex bookcase of this library tour. We've been touring just all the way around the circumference of this room, and we're at the Annex bookcase, which is a big bookcase that I've used for the runoff of 2019 books. 2019 books that I have already dealt with. I've already read them. In some cases, I've already reviewed them, but I haven't decided what to do with them yet, whether or not they want to join my collection. We're at the bottom shelf. That's why I'm on the floor here in the shadows. So we're going to do this last one. And I'm assuming that a lot of these are very early in the year, because I've just been trying to consolidate downwards. Like, for instance, this one, which came out in late January. This is by Will Medeiros, and it's called Restoration Heights. This was the cover of the review copy. A piece of contemporary fiction that I really liked. I'm probably will be seeing it in paperback before the end of the year. Now that I think about it, can't remember if I reviewed it or not. I think I was. I think this is a debut, and I was a little bit disappointed with how little attention it got. Yeah, this is the author's first novel, and I in retrospect, of course, you always think about this when you're a reviewer. In retrospect, I feel sorry that I didn't review it myself to give it a little more attention than it got. But maybe it got more than I thought it did. Okay, this is by Dorianne Laux. This is a volume of poetry, Only as the Day is Long. I seem to remember liking this quite a bit. I'm pretty sure that's why I kept it. I don't think that anywhere in this bookcase there's any other poetry. Or did we see Brute? Wasn't Brute a book from this tour? I'm not seeing it at the moment, but I think there was a poetry volume called Brute that I really liked as well, but not many. Okay, all right. This is from February. This is a 1940s LA crime novel, The Syndicate, by Guy Bolton. I had never read this author before. I thought this was gripping, gripping and fast-paced. I liked it very much. Okay, this is who did this? This is a very nice paperback. This is Black Cat Books. This is an English language translation, or no? Maybe the author just wrote it in English. I could have sworn. No, this is not an English language translation. This is simply the book itself. The Selected Works of Abdullah the Cossack by H.M. Naqvi. A really good, very multi-layered Karachi novel. it's a book of high comedy, of sustained, intelligent, controlled high comedy, a comedy of situation. I liked it very much for that. This is, I can't remember if this is the format that it came in. This might be the format that it came in. Yeah, I think this is the format that it came in. And in other words, I don't think this is a paperback of a hardcover that came before it. This is just a Pakistan novel, but a very good one. Very, very smart. And the character portrait of the septuagenarian main character is indelible. It's really, really good. Okay, this next one is by Brian Sykes. This is another one. There have been a few books on dogs this year. This is Once a Wolf, The Science Behind Our Dog's Astonishing Genetic Evolution. And I've read this, of course, and I liked it. I liked it very much. I don't think I reviewed it. It was probably early in the year. Well, yeah, late March. But one way or another, I don't think I wrote about this. I will check to make sure. I try to remember to leave reviews to all these things attached to the video that talks about them. But for instance, yesterday, I think I did Cal Newport's Digital Minimalism. We came across that book on the second to last shelf on this bookcase. I know that I reviewed the book. I reviewed it alongside How to Disappear, and I cannot for the life of me find it anywhere online. so it's a little bit confusing, a little bit frustrating. But when you review books as often as I do, you're going to run into a problem like that. I liked this book, and there is a spate more dog books coming out this year. I'm very happy to report that I'll be reviewing two of them for the Christian Science Monitor, one of which is by Alexander Horowitz, the author of Inside of a Dog, that has been just a huge hit with dog people everywhere. She wrote a sequel to that, Our Dogs Ourselves, and I'm going to be reviewing that, and I'm greatly looking forward to it. Okay, this next one is Chip Cheek's massively fought for and bid upon debut novel, Cape May, about a young newlywed couple that fall in with a sophisticated crowd of quip-dropping older people. So it's not quite about upper middle class Connecticut divorce, but I didn't know what to make of it. And I was waiting. You notice this is the advanced copy. I was waiting to get the finished copy and never did. And it won't be long now, I bet, before I see the paperback, and then I will read it again, see if it makes any more sense to me. Oh, all right, good. This is also just a paperback. This is Sarah Rose D-Day Girls. I wish all histories looked like this, or something like this. I wish that the book designers took the extra minute made the extra effort to make a book look like this. A subject like this. The subtitle is "The Spies Who Armed the Resistance, Sabotaged the Nazis, and Helped Win World War II." And you can easily picture. You've seen 1,000 examples of it on this channel. You can easily picture this book having a faded sepia tone, black and white photo, blurry around the edges of who knows who, and maybe the author knows who it is. But it isn't in any way geared to attract a general readership, and this is. And I loved it. It turned out to be. This is from April, I think. Yeah, this is. This turned out to be one of an absolute tsunami of keyhole histories of World War II. In other words, not big, massive tomes about the Western theater or the Eastern theater, but rather little stories about sabotage and clandestine communication networks, or one particular fighter, or one particular battle. I love that sort of thing. Just love it. And this was a really good early example. What's this next one? Oh, great. Okay, this is John Buchanan's The Road to Charleston. American Revolutionary history. This is not the kind of sweeping panorama that we saw earlier in this bookcase tour with the British are coming. Rather, this is the Southern theater and a constricted batch of years and a constricted cast of characters, but it's fascinating stuff, and this author knows it better than anybody. Wow, I'm glad that's still here. That's good. Some of these things in this tour have surprised me, why I still kept them. Okay, like for instance this one, Catherine Hall Page, The Body in the Wake. This is a Faith Fairchild mystery. I liked it very much. I don't think I reviewed it for anybody. I don't have a venue for murder mysteries other than Open Letters. I'd like one. I'd like to make myself known to a murder mystery venue of some kind. But I don't think, I read this and liked it, but I don't think I reviewed it anywhere. And it was very good, of course. All of Catherine Hall Page was really good, but not worth keeping. I don't know what it's doing here. I read it, I liked it. That's odd. Next to our paperbacks. Oh, right, yes, of course. Okay, these are You Should Start Sooner and This Trifling Distinction. These were a very big surprise to me from Down East Books. 2 paperback collections of John Gould's columns that he wrote forever for the Christian Science Monitor. He was just a regular New England columnist, slices of New England life, that sort of thing. Massively popular with the Monitor's readers. They loved it. They waited on every column. And I'm sure these have been collected before, but I don't have any of them. It's been ages since I even heard about them. I was overjoyed to see these things and soak up these pieces again. Some of them I remember. Most of them I didn't. And this is a perfect example of what I talk about on this channel, of the weird health of the U.S. reprint market. God bless the people at Down East Books to bring John Gould back at least this far into the public spotlight. These have come and gone from bookstores, but they were a gem to see and to read again. They will certainly go into the permanent collection. No doubt about it at all. Okay. All right. This was one of 2 books that I know of on this subject this year. This is Will Hunt's Underground. Look at that cover, huh? This is all about the subterranean world, not just the human-engineered kind, although mostly that, but also everything else. Everything that happens underground. Dead people, all the water that we drink, natural gas, all that sort of stuff. And I thought, it's not a big book, but I thought the authors did a great job. Smart and really fast-paced, but without missing anything. Okay, all right. This next one is the other book on subterranean thoughts. This is much bigger, a much more comprehensive and philosophical endeavor. Lots and lots of praise from my brethren critics. Lots and lots of best of lists at the end of the year, I'm sure. This is Robert McFarlane, Underland. And this is just the author's sort of intellectual journey through the concepts, the human concepts of what is under the ground and how humans have used it. Endlessly thought-provoking, just endlessly thought-provoking. Hope the paperback retains the cover. I really do. I don't have much hope in that, but I hope they do. What's this next one? This next one's really big. Oh, right, yes, of course. This is The Conservative Sensibility by George Will. There is George Will in years gone by. This is the great big book, the great big conservative philosophical tome that he'd been threatening people are promising fans forever. And this is it. I thought it was incredibly witty, incredibly insightful, incredibly mordant. This is not just the conservative sensibility. It could easily be called an obituary for the conservative sensibility. And I don't think that detracted much from it. I thought it was a masterpiece, just a masterpiece. I didn't review it. David Murphy reviewed it for Open Letters, but I loved it. Let's see here. Okay, this next one is an Oxford history. I really like this book, but I'm not sure that, what it's doing here. This is Noel Malcolm's book, Useful Enemies, about how the West used the Ottoman Empire, how they characterized it in order to leverage popular support or philosophical support or anything like that. How they saw it, they knew what it was, they were trading with it, they were dealing with it diplomatically, so they knew the reality of what it was. But they also knew how to use it. They also knew how to characterize it in not only polemical prose, but also famously poetry, fiction. And this had a really good sweep to it, and lots of wonderful passages. Maybe that's why I kept it. I keep thinking of it in terms of utility. This is the sort of thing that I would usually review for an Arab audience, and I didn't. So it just floated right by the plate, and I automatically saw it and thought, well, okay, you didn't end up reviewing it on the other side of the world. So what are you doing keeping it? But it was really good. So that's why I kept Arabs, which started off this book for. This is next one. Okay, this is small press. This is That's Rufus, a memoir of Tar Heel politics, Watergate, and public life. This is Rufus Edmondson, a minor player, but with a ringside seat at the Watergate proceedings. He was the very first person ever to hand a subpoena to a sitting president. And this is, it's his upbringing in the Deep South and his time apprenticing on Capitol Hill, and and after that, it goes forward into his time in state politics and whatnot. But really, the heart of the book is his Watergate experience. This is his Watergate memoir, padded out on either end with his personal story. And he's not a natural writer, but I couldn't resist reading the book, of course. And then we finish up this shelf and this bookcase with one of the greatest books done in 2019. This is Sir Shoshana Zuboff's The Age of Surveillance Capitalism. Great big thing that I had a great pleasure in reviewing. This is her gigantic synthesis of what it is that we're doing with these new forces in our lives that have incrementally wormed their way into every corner without much examination, except from people like her. These data harvesting, information harvesting, online entities that are everywhere and that absolutely feed on you and me. And that's what this book is about. And I thought, when I read about it beforehand, I thought, okay, that will probably be impressive. But I had no idea how impressive it would be. This is a book to read on that subject. Just magisterial is the word that book reviewers use, and in this case, totally warranted. And that is it. That is the last shelf of this Annex bookcase. So we are now done with this Annex bookcase, and that means that we move on. If we're moving on just in a normal clockwise direction in this room, if we skip the work bookcase, we have to skip the work bookcase because it's all forthcoming books, and those of them that I have read, I am almost certainly going to review, or I haven't read them and would just be holding them up and not knowing anything about them. So that bookcase we're going to skip, which means that if we go around the room in this direction, the next thing we do is The Darkest Steps of Mordor, which, those of you who are new to the channel, there is a built-in recessed hutch on one of the walls here that has shelves in it. I think it was probably used for plates or fine china or whatnot when this was a dining room. But I, of course, have used it for books. And because it is not a bookcase, because it has wide open spaces, I have chucked books in there. Periodically, over the years, I have chucked books in there until, periodically, you can't even look inside it. It's just piled high with books, and then I have to, put on my pith helmet and go in there and actually deal with Mordor. And then it looks fairly neat, and then it fills up again. I pitch books in there again. I don't actually know what shape it's in right now, but even when it's at its neatest, it's still going to be a nightmare to go through. Just a nightmare. We did it once before. We went through the Darkest Depths of Mordor once before, and it was a nightmare. The shelves themselves could not stand the stress. So we'll see if it goes any better this time. I don't know one way or another. I might take the weekend off to psychically prepare myself. But then I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.